it's Lauren again from L&J Design and Renovation. In today's video, we are going to talk about everything dining room decor. What I like to do, how I like to change things out for seasonal decor, and some key pieces that will help the transition process be that much easier. So we have a farmhouse style table with live edge wood. This is our kitchen table. And then of course we have 2 chairs on either side, and then we have 2 armchairs on either end. So this is our dining room setup. I love switching out my decor for different seasons. So typically speaking, I will do something different at Christmas, and then I do something for my fall decor, spring decor, and then I just kind of have my decor that goes with everything in between. So it gets changed out frequently, but there are a couple pieces that I continuously use because it works within the space. So first things first, I always like, especially with a large table like this, you need something to really centralize the focal point of the table. So I always start out my designs with adding a runner. Now, this runner can change out depending on the time of year. Right now, obviously, we're sort of in between, so I just have this very natural runner that I just got from Winners, and it's not too bold, kind of blends it a little bit with the table, but it has a little bit of the white, which ties in nicely with our decor. So I simply put this down the center, and that is the first starting point. Again, it focuses your attention to the center of the table, which is where we're going to decorate. So that's the idea, is to make sure the attention is going to that spot. The next thing I do is I like to add height in the center. So I have my chandelier above, which is a nice central point. We always make sure the table is centered around this space. Obviously then having the 2 chairs on either side of the central point being the chandelier. So again, because we have the chandelier, you want your eyes, the attention to be drawn to the middle of the table. So for me, again, this time of year, I just have this simple glass vase, which was from IKEA, and then I have the olive branches as my greenery. Greenery is great because it goes with every season. So if you're kind of stuck, don't know what to do within a season, my go-to is always greenery. For Christmas, sometimes I take this out. I have some paper trees that I'll use as my center point, again, adding height to the middle of the space. For fall, I have a fall arrangement that goes in, which is just a lot of natural items, a bit more earthy tones than the greens. And then summer, I will switch it out for some flowers, some tulips, or another white flower that just pops a little bit more. But key point being is we have the height, we have the focal point, and we have the little pop of color. I'm not huge on color, and again, we'll talk about that in further posts. So my go-to color is always to add a touch of greenery to the space. That's the color that I use throughout my home. So it's important for me to have that in my dining room. Next, some candles, because who doesn't love candles? Candles are such an easy decor addition to any space. These are great. These are just from Amazon, and then the actual white candles itself are from IKEA. But these work particularly well for us. It ties in the black, which obviously I have accented throughout my house, as you can see with the chandelier. These provide a variance in height, which again is a bit more visually interesting than just having, a bunch of the same level candles throughout. So if you can get something that varies in height, it's just going to pull the space in, pull your focus into the center of the table. So this is sort of the extent of what I would have for my off season, let's say. So, this time of year where it's, still winter because we're in Ontario, but it's not Christmas time and I'm not ready to pull out my spring decor yet. So this is sort of my staple pieces that I will use, you know, intertwined with different seasonal changes. I will leave these on the table. I might switch up the runner for spring, and then like I mentioned before, I will put some flowers in the vase. But for the most part, these candlesticks are so versatile. They're really elegant and pretty. They're really nice and thin. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but they're just very simplistic. So they work really great in the space, and they work great throughout the seasons. So for Christmas this year, I had a different runner, these candlesticks, like I mentioned, my paper trees, and then we just had some garland weaving. It went through the candlesticks, so it worked out really well. So again, basic candles, central vase. Sometimes I switch my vase out, again, depending on the season. I have a couple different ones that I really like to use. Focusing on some height, focusing on a focal point. You want something in the center and then something to sort of take your eyes out to either side of the table. It's not too much, it's not too little, it works out well. Then the finishing touches for our space. Again, just tying in a little bit of extra is I like to just do a nice neutral, again, for this time of year. A nice neutral blanket with a black pillow in the end chairs. This is pretty, but also functional. It just adds a little bit more visual interest to either end of your captain's chairs, while also providing comfort to whoever is sitting at the two end chairs, of course. Again, simple, ties in the neutrals, ties in the black, which is our, you know, tie-in color, obviously you can see throughout, and functional for comfort wise. So again, this is the premise behind our dining room decor, and nothing crazy, wasn't overly expensive. The pillow and the blanket are from IKEA as well. Find lots of good finds there, but definitely works intertwined with different seasonal changes. So this is it.